Welcome to Grateful, where we provide SAT, ACT, and PSAT tutoring for students all around the world. Your competition is using a tutor, not just preparing based on things they're finding online, but actually using a human tutor. And that's who you're competing against. So if you want to do your best on the SAT or ACT or even PSAT, you need to find a tutor who's really going to give you the best coaching and help you be competitive against that stiff competition. If you're interested in finding out more how we can help you with that, feel free to reach out. Right now, we're looking at March 2021, Section 4, Calculator Math section, and let's go ahead and get started. Question number 1 is asking us to demonstrate our understanding of frequency. The question is asking us how many of the samples have a pH of 7.4 or greater. So that would include these 4 and these 3. It would not include these because they have a pH of 7.1 to 7.3 or 6.8 to 7.0. But 7.4 or greater is right here, and that's a total of 7 values. So that's answer choice D for number 1. In question number 2, what we're seeing is instructions located in the units. So the number of people per square mile. So we're being asked for the number of people per square mile. And so let's just go ahead and arrange that. There are 441,000 people in an area of 36 square miles. So when you throw that into a calculator, you get 12,250. And so the answer for 2 is B. Question number 3 is quizzing us on our knowledge of box plots. And the number one thing you want to know about box plots, if nothing else, is that the whisker in the middle of the box is the median of the whole group. So, how does the median diameter from the Roman Empire compare to the median diameter from ancient Greece? Well, if the median from the Roman Empire seems to be around 13 and the median from Greece seems to be around 19, and this is R and this is G, then we can say confidently that R is less than G, and the answer for number 3 is A. So question number 4 is giving us a ratio, but to stay organized, we can label our ratio. So we're talking about combustion as one part of this, and energy as another. And maybe we can consider the units to stay extra sharp on it. So the combustion is in grams of glucose combusted, and the energy is in kilocalories. So we're seeing that the ratio of grams of glucose combusted to energy is 12 to 45. And then we're being asked about 85.5 kilocalories. And we're being asked how many grams. So right now we have this set up well, and we have a proportion which we can cross multiply. So 12 times 85.5, which is 1026. So 1026 equals 45 times x. So FYI, we multiply this by this equals this by this. Now we can divide both sides by 45, and we'll get x is 22.8. And so the answer for number 4 is C. Question 5 is asking us simply about f of x notation. Do we know that when we see f of 3, then that means to plug in x equals 3? So let's go ahead and do that. F of 3 equals 3 squared minus 7, which is 9 minus 7, so it's 2. And f of 3 is 2. Number 6 is a really interesting question. We're seeing that the probability of an unfair coin landing head side up is 0.6. The question later asks us, what is the probability that the coin will land head side up on the 10th toss? Well, we were already told that the probability of it landing head side up on any toss is 0.6, so the answer is going to be C, nice and easy. And the point here is that what happens on other tosses in no way impacts what happens on any new toss. The probability is simply the probability. So the answer for 6 is C. Question 7 is asking us about our understanding of arithmetic mean as it relates to frequency charts. So the first one has bars here. It's a little hard to see on this copy. The second one has bars here. And we're being told that dataset B is the result of removing the outlier from dataset A. So this gets removed, and then we end up like that. So what's the impact on the means? Well, think of it this way. If you have a class where there's this spread of scores, and then there's one extra student that got a higher score than everyone else, that class will have one average. But if the student with the higher score is removed, it's going to pull down the average because the person with the higher score is pulling the average upward. So very clearly the mean of dataset B is going to be lower. And that's exactly what answer choice B says, and that's our answer for number 7. Question number 8 is part of a bigger scenario, and it's asking us what's the distance that the person drove after 3 hours. So we see the formula D equals 60t, and we need to know that D is the number of miles and that T is in hours. That makes a big difference. And here we're simply getting 3 hours. So multiply that out, you got 180, and the answer for 8 is D. Question number 9 is asking us the time intervals during which the person drove in North Dakota. So one way to do this is to realize that it starts at 120 miles. So if we plug 120 into the formula, we have 120 miles equals 60 times t, and t equals 2. So the person enters into this domain right around t equals 2 hours and continues it until those 360 miles are up. But at this point, we're going to consider D not to be 360 or 120, but 480 because it's the total cumulative distance. So for the second part, we'll go ahead and use the same formula, but we'll plug 480 in for our distance, and t equals 480 divided by 60, which is 8 hours. So the time period starts at 2 hours and goes to 8 hours, and that's answer choice B for number 9. Going over to question 10 now. Here we're being asked between which 2 days was the growth rate the greatest. Now rate can often be interpreted as slope, and here is no different. And to imagine the slope at any moment, you can draw lines that kind of characterize that moment. So this line characterizes the slope between 2 and 3. Right here you can kind of see the slope between 3 and 4. And right around here you can see the slope between 4 and 5. And it keeps getting higher and higher. The line that we're drawing that illustrates the slope keeps getting steeper and steeper. But after the interval between 5 and 6, everything changes and the slope starts to flatten out again. So the steepest moment is this line right here, which happens during the interval from 5 to 6. And that's answer choice B for number 10.